live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning and happy Thursday or Friday Eve. Thanks so much for starting your day off with us right here on GMSA at 9.
I think that's why everybody in the newsroom is excited, because it's almost Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Almost Friday.
Almost.
Spirits are up, but it's still humid outside.
Temperature is up too, right, Justin?
Yeah, I don't think anyone's excited because of the weather. I'm just going to say that. It is not. You walk outside, it's like a sauna. It's so humid and warm. Already this morning, we're still at 80. We didn't get below 80. And we'll see those temperatures skyrocket again this afternoon. You saw outside there, we've got some morning low clouds, all due to that thicker moisture that has worked in. It's also led to a couple showers. I'll show you that on the authority radar. You can see those down near Beeville. Not much here around San Antonio, although we did see a few sprinkles earlier. I don't anticipate much rain today, really. It's going to be the heat index. That's the big story. By 2 o'clock, we're at 94 this afternoon, 97, but that's going to translate to a heat index somewhere around 103, 104, I think, for at least a few hours later today. So that Thursday night football game, it's going to be a little rough out there. That'll be the case tomorrow, too, for Friday night football. Well, let's look at some of the weather headlines. So, yes, we've talked about the heat, but could we see some relief next week? I think so. Temperatures will come down a little bit. We've got some rain chances now in the forecast. And the tropics, this is interesting. We got to see what's going on in the Gulf of Mexico. We'll get you the latest there. Plus, the drought update is in, and we look at the drought monitor and see what's going on there. It is getting a little bit worse, unfortunately, so we could use some rain. And we'll talk much more about that coming up in just a couple minutes, guys.
Thank you, Justin. Looks like out there with TransGuide this morning. So far on the cameras, everything looked pretty good. Looks really good there at 37 at South Cross. I'm looking at the TxDOT website. It looks like there's a minor crash over at Evans Road and I-35. We don't see that on the screen, but just be aware of that.
All right, here's today's 99.
Borrowers are about to get relief on everything from mortgages to credit cards. The Federal Reserve announced a supersized interest rate cut. The bold but not unexpected half-point move is the first interest rate cut since March of 2020. It marks a crucial milestone in the central bank's historic inflation fight, which kept rates at a bruising 23-year high for more than a year.
Law enforcement is demanding help from Congress after pig butchering scams. The scams target people throughout dating apps, and victims end up losing their life savings to scammers. Through cryptocurrency schemes, so far at least $4 billion has been lost to pig butchering scams. The scammers are often overseas, where criminal organizations use human trafficking victims to carry out their fraud.
Boeing will start furloughing thousands of white-collar workers in an effort to save money, while tens of thousands of its machinists are on strike. The company and the union resumed negotiations earlier this week. The furloughed employees will keep their benefits, and they will be off work 1 week out of every 4 on a rolling basis while the strike continues. The furloughs will impact a large number of U.S.-based executives, managers, and employees.
Amazon warehouse workers are getting a pay raise and free Prime membership. The average starting wage has increased to more than $22 an hour. That's good news for the online retail giant's more than 800,000 frontline employees. The company will also offer the $139 yearly Prime benefit to employees for free. The wage hike comes ahead the busy holiday shopping season. Analysts are predicting online sales will increase this year.
The El Paso Zoo is helping 2 spider monkeys recover from a traumatic experience. Officials say the furry primates were rescued from traffickers at a U.S. port of entry a few days ago. The monkeys are between 4 to 8 weeks old. The vets and care staff at the zoo are giving the monkeys food and a warm enclosure. The 2 monkeys will be returned to their natural habitat in Mexico once they're rehabilitated.
You can now renew your passport online. The State Department launched a new service that allows people to apply online for a fee. It's open to adults renewing a regular 10-year passport that is expiring or has expired within the past 5 years. The agency estimates up to 5 million Americans a year will be eligible for the service. It's available on travel.state.gov. If this goes well, the State Department says that it could expand the service.
Professional women's basketball is returning to Portland, Oregon. This will be the WNBA's 15th team. The yet-to-be-named club will play its home games at the Moda Center starting in 2026. The league has seen records in viewership, attendance, and merchandise sales this year. thanks in part to the arrival of rookies Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
Amazon is getting some competition on Prime Day. Walmart now says that it will kick off its holiday deals shopping event on the same day, October 8th. Walmart sales will run through the 13th.
Hershey is expanding into the wellness industry, starting a deal with supplement brand C4 Energy. As part of the collaboration, Hershey's namesake milk chocolate and Reese's peanut butter and chocolate will soon be sold as protein powders. Its Jolly Rancher candies will also be turned into bubbly energy drinks. The canned energy drinks are rolling out this week at major U.S. retailers. The flavors include blue raspberry, green apple, and watermelon. And that's today's 9 at 9.
Well, tonight we are kicking off season 2 of our series, Know My Neighborhood.
And this episode features the South Side community. And of course, joining us this morning to talk all about it, we got our very own Steve Spriester joining us today to talk about it. But we know this is a bit early for you, but it's worth it.
Well, yes. I appreciate the fact that I actually get to be on the same set with Jeff and Steph. I mean, this is a party. Let's forget about this whole. But Know My Neighborhood to me is something that's very special. I love the fact that we are continuing it into season 2. And a perfect way, I think, to kick it off is the South San neighborhood, Bobcat Pride. I mean, and that's why we said pride and perseverance, because there are some things in this side of town, like people dump their trash on certain parts of this neighborhood. They have health issues. They have different things going on. But the whole purpose of Know My Neighborhood, no matter which neighborhood we go to, is to give these neighborhoods a voice. They're the ones that set the agenda. They're the ones that tell us the stories and the issues that they think are most important. We don't go talk to politicians. We don't talk to elected officials. We go straight to the source. And so here's a little preview of what we're going to have tonight at 6 o'clock.
This neighborhood is a gem that no one's really, figured out yet.
I feel like people shy away from it because of like the aesthetic of it, but it's really nice. I like it. It's different vibe and it's different to the community.
It's affordable. The houses are affordable.
There's a history too, a sad and a bad.
Back then, Kelly was a place that everybody wanted to be at.
There are a lot of larger families in this particular area. There's a lot of elderly people as well. All those families can definitely benefit from more resources.
Why do some neighborhoods have luxuries that we don't?
My yard floods a lot, and I threw out, I had to grade the front to kind of push it to the sidewalk. It's frustrating.
We all grew up here and we get used to, the place, and, we just want our kids to enjoy the same.
The issues in this neighborhood go deep, right? And there's a lot of metabolic disease, diabetes, blood pressure, cholesterol. We're talking about strokes, we're talking about amputations, we're talking about losing the ability to work due to chronic illness.
This whole section is tires and trash.
It's just ridiculous. We care about the land that we live near.
I can't picture myself living anywhere else.
I've never moved away, and I don't plan to.
There is a lure to the South San neighborhood. People leave, but a lot of them are coming back. And as a matter of fact, I sat at Mendez Cafe, which is a staple in the South San neighborhood, Quintana Road neighborhood to be exact, or Quintana Community neighborhood. And they talked about the fact that they came back, but they want basics. They want curbs. They want proper drainage. You heard one of the guys talking about the fact that his yard floods on even a light rain. And so they want some of the basics that other neighborhoods have. They'd like those here. They'd like community centers and parks too.
Right.
But they're asking for lighting. They're asking for sidewalks, curbs, drainage, things like that. But it's also just the spirit of this neighborhood. When you talk Bobcat Pride, I mean, there's a lot of things called South San and a lot of things called Bobcat in that neighborhood. That tells you a little bit about how proud they are.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, this is an area that was shaped by the old Kelly Air Force Base.
That's right.
And you still hear the constant roar of jet engines there. It's still, a hub of activity for military aircraft to be repaired by Boeing and other places on Port SA. So it's a very interesting neighborhood, and I enjoyed thoroughly meeting the people there. And we're going to be live tonight at 6 o'clock, Taqueria Mexico on Somerset Road. Myra and I will be out there. We'll be live at 5 as well. pride and perseverance, because I think that's what they're doing in this neighborhood. When Kelly closed down, some 24 years ago, it rebuilt with Port San Antonio. This neighborhood has kind of done the same thing, and so I'm really excited about it.
Well, they seem like they have, you're talking about some of their concerns, but they also have some hidden gems there in the neighborhood as well.
Well, so Adam Caskey is going from a place called Cuba 1918, and it is a wonderful place. I mean, just the inside of it, you feel like you're in Havana, not South San. And they have jazz music, they have Cuban food, they have all kinds of things. I mean, there are a lot of little, like what I would call hole-in-the-wall places that are worth discovering in South San. That is for sure. And the history of South San is amazing too. South San Antonio was once its own city.
That I did not know.
It was separate. It was separate from San Antonio, so they kind of have that identity too. Okay. And so it's fascinating.
Gotcha.
I look forward to hearing that part too.
Exactly. Yeah. Again, live at 6 tonight, right?
Live at 6 o'clock. Live from 6 to 7 at Taqueria Mexico is where Myra and I will be. Caskey will be at Cuba 1918. I don't know letting Adam Caskey out by himself, if that's a good idea, but he will be doing Thermometer Thursday tonight.
Oh, how fun. So. Yeah, that'll be good to see you guys there.
Yeah, it's great to see you too.
Yes, thank you for being up early for us.
I want to come back again. Can I come back for the next neighborhood?
Yes,
okay, all right, we'll make this a regular thing.
All right, Steve. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
It is now 9:09. We're looking at 82 degrees outside. Still ahead on GMSA at 9.
Well, after the break, we are breaking down the data about heat-related deaths and who it impacts most and what we can do moving forward. Welcome back. It's 9:13. Well, last year was the hottest year on record globally and the hottest summer ever recorded here in San Antonio.
So that heat is starting to kill more people. At UTSA, study shows that the U.S. had the most heat-related deaths in 2023 in 20 years.
Well, Sarah Costa breaks down the data, looks at who is most impacted and what we can do going forward.
We have all felt the impacts of climate change, but now the data is showing it's hurting humans more than ever. UTSA Associate Professor Dr. Jeffrey Howard led a study that looked at 20 years of Centers for Disease Control data of heat-related illnesses, and they found that there has been a 117% increase in heat-related deaths in the U.S. from 1999 to 2023.
I don't think you can deny that there's something going on there. There's a pattern of increasing risk of heat. We know that. We know that the environment's getting warmer. We know that there's more extreme hot days. And so that, my interpretation of the data is that is then leading to these increased number of deaths.
More than 21,000 people have died from heat-related illnesses since 1999, and more Americans have died from the heat in 2023 than any year during that time.
And in 2023, there was a little over 2,300.
Those most impacted are those who work outside, like construction workers, children, the elderly, and the unhoused. And most of those deaths are happening in the Southwest, with Texas having the second most. Howard says what needs to happen now is start finding solutions to prevent future deaths, like clinicians making people more aware of this problem, but also finding ways to help through public policy and nonprofits.
Expansion of cooling centers, hydration centers, making public buildings available, air-conditioned buildings available to folks who may not have access.
And most importantly, he says we are facing this all together.
We can work together to reduce the risks.
Sarah Costa, KSAT 12 News.
It's a lot of important information right there. Heat is something to not play with. I know we joke about it a lot, but
sure. It's something we're kind of getting used to down here, but it still can be dangerous, especially on days like today, where you have the temperature in the upper 90s and the heat index around 105, and it's mid-September. You don't really think, oh man, it's gonna be that hot outside, but it is. Yeah. And that's what we're contending with today. So much humidity that it's leading to a couple showers too on authority radar. We can see those down near Corpus Christi, around the Beeville area. These are tracking north. We've had a couple of light showers just to the west of San Antonio earlier. I don't anticipate a lot of rain today, but I did want to show you that. There is a little bit of something on authority radar this morning. It's been a while since we've seen anything there. Visible satellite picture. Starting to get our first glimpses now that we're getting more daylight, and You can see there's quite a bit of cloud cover around San Antonio now too. We've got a good cloud deck out over Del Rio and Eagle Pass. That may help a little bit with temperatures today, but full sun for those east of San Antonio. And right now we're getting partly cloudy sky over the airport. Temperature is at 82. And as I mentioned earlier, we never really dropped below 80 this morning. That's rough. 82 New Braunfels, 80 in Converse, upper 70s for Bernie and Kerrville. We've got a good southerly wind, good amount of moisture, and that will keep temperatures up overnight. Then, yes, there's the authority radar one more time. We just showed you that. But let's look at dew points. So dew points are in the mid-70s. These are high. And this is tropical air. And it's not just for us. I mean, you go west, even Uvalde. I don't know if that's a correct reading. 80 is a ridiculously high dew point. But nonetheless, it is humid no matter where you go. And our forecast today takes us up to 90 by noontime. We're already going to get a feels like temperature of 100 at that point. And then by 2 o'clock, we're at 94, 96 at 3 p.m. And then you get up into the afternoon, we're up around 97, but the heat index is 104. So as I said earlier, this is pretty intense heat. Down the line, what could we see? What could change? Well, our heat high finally does move out of the way. We got a trough that kind of pushes things off to the south and east. Develop some showers and storms across West Texas, not necessarily here yet. That's Sunday at 5 o'clock. But by the time we get into Monday, maybe more so Tuesday, Wednesday, we start to see a trough developing. And if it can get close enough to us, we may get some showers out of it. Now, most indications are that a lot of the rain will stay off to our west. But I think we'll have some shots at some rain maybe Tuesday into Wednesday as this moves a little bit closer to us. We'll have a weak front in play too. So fingers crossed that maybe we do get some rain around here. We've put in a 20% chance Tuesday and Wednesday to account for that. Meantime, out in the tropics, out in the Caribbean, we've got an area where we think there could be some development, and that may work its way into the Gulf of Mexico. Coming up next half hour, we'll take a deeper dive into this and what we think may transpire with the warm waters there in the Gulf of Mexico and how that might affect our forecast. But it is something to watch, and this would hold off probably until next week. But we are still very much in hurricane season, and there's a couple of other areas out there that bear some watching as well. So our extended forecast, 97 tomorrow, 96 Saturday, 94 Sunday. Yes, we officially go into fall. And next week, look, temperatures are a little bit better, not as hot. And maybe humidity levels are just a little bit lower, and then we'll keep our fingers crossed for some added clouds, maybe some rain Tuesday and Wednesday.
You know, hot or not, there will be a lot of pumpkins out on porches next week.
Yeah, it's
fall look.
It's about that time to go to the pumpkin patch and do that stuff. Even if you sweat, it's still okay.
I know. I do take them out early. I haven't yet, but but sometimes I have to buy more pumpkins mid-season because of the weather. They get all
mushy.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's head out to our friends over at SA Live. How y'all doing today?
Hey guys. Happy Thursday. Yes, you're right. The struggle is real with the pumpkins. So let's hope for some cooler weather. And we have a fun-packed show today, right, Jada?
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. You guys gotta check it out. We are, I'm hungry already. It smells really good at our studio right now.
And you know why she's hungry? Take a look at what we have here. It is the first ever Oktoberfest happening at La Vita. We have Chef Johnny Hernandez joining us. Hi, Chef Johnny. Tell us all about this.
Yes. So Oktoberfest at La Vita this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We kick it off Friday at 4 p.m., all day Saturday and all day Sunday. So it's a free community event. We have 6 chefs from our local community celebrating not only our German heritage, but Czech, Polish, and Alsatian. So these food traditions are what have shaped our food community. So come out, we have live entertainment, we have a lot of cultural dancing and music, even the conjunto that is part of this heritage that was formed by a lot of these German traditions. So we're excited.
I love the connections and the roots, and he had so many fun facts. And all the food sounds amazing. Speaking of food, we're taking you to the South Side today, and yes, that right there, look at that, mouth-watering treats. It's a new snack shop over in the South Sand neighborhood, which is part of Know My Neighborhood, happening on KSAT this evening. So that leads to our question of the day. What is your go-to hangout spot in your neighborhood? Do you have one, Jada?
I do. Mine is Pastiche. I love going to Pastiche. They actually were on the show, yes, and so love going to Pastiche for a nice little glass of wine with the girls. We just have such a fun time. What about you?
Okay, well, I'll share mine a little later. Scan your code, and I'm going to think about mine. And we have so much more coming up on SA Live. We'll be back after the break.
All right, welcome back. Of course, we're going to get to our lovely Ivan Herrera pretty soon because guess what? The Federal Reserve just made a big move cutting interest rates by 0.5%, and that could be good news for your wallet.
Well, Ivan Herrera is here, and he's going to break down what this means for you. And good morning, Ivan. Will this rate cut have a big impact on borrowing?
Good morning. Yes, let's talk about this rate cut. This is the first rate cut we've seen in over 4 years, and it was bigger than expected, but this alone won't have an immediate big impact on your finances. More rate cuts are expected in the coming months, but let's focus on what this means right now. In the housing market, we're seeing some action. Mortgage rates have been dropping recently. The average 30-year fixed rate is now at 6.2%, almost 2 percentage points lower than it was last October. Last week, total mortgage applications spiked 14% according to the Mortgage Bankers Association, and refinancing applications jumped even higher, up 24%, while new home purchases went up 5%. Now, mortgage rates aren't directly tied to the Fed's rate cuts. Their rates are more closely tied to the Treasury bonds and other economic factors. So even if the Fed keeps cutting prices, we're likely to see only modest drops in mortgage rates over the next year, and that depends on the health of the economy. And switching to credit cards, don't expect immediate relief here either. It could take a few billing cycles before you notice any changes to your interest rates. Right now, the average credit card rate is still pretty high at around 21%, and store cards are even higher, over 30% on average. So even if we see more rate cuts over the next 2 years, that would only push rates down to about 16% on average. Still pretty pricey if you're carrying a balance, especially if it's a big balance. And if you do have credit card debt, the best move to do is to pay it off as quickly as you can. You might also want to look into transferring your balance to a 0% interest card, but keep in mind that you need pretty good credit to qualify for those, and those offers usually last about 12 to 18 months to pay that balance down. Another option you have is to transfer your balance to a credit union or a local bank where interest rates tend to be a little lower than those bigger banks. Your best bet, though, is to seek an expert to create a game plan to pay down that debt. And guys, I want to remind everybody that when you're paying down debt, you really want to make sure that you don't let it get further and further, because you're just going to keep accruing more and more and more. And the last thing you want is to pay more. So we're going to be following the Fed a little bit more closer to see what moves it makes. And it has meetings coming up in November and December. So we're going to keep an eye on it and let you know what happens after this.
Yeah, we're glad it's coming down a little bit. I don't ever remember, especially the store credit cards.
They're so high.
Yes, with the interest rates
incredibly,
so high. Yeah,
yes.
I actually because I used to get little coupons, and they're like, well, forget about those coupons. I'm not going to use this credit card.
They bring you in with a 15% off, and then 30% later, you're going to regret it.
They're really bad now.
So thank y'all so much. And
thank you.
Keep an eye on it.
Time now, 9:28 and 82 degrees for now. There's a lot more ahead on GMSA at 9. Welcome back. It's almost 9:32. Well, next time you drive through Terrell Hills, you will notice that something new: license plate readers. So the city recently added 10 around the community.
John Paul Baraja sat down with the police chief to discuss the added safety measure and how it works.
It will help solve cases a lot quicker. We mainly deal with property crimes here in Terrell Hills.
License plate readers are now up and running in the Terrell Hills community. Terrell Hills Police Chief Gail Baham explains it's one more crime-stopping tool they're excited to have at their disposal.
Our residents, a lot of them have Ring cameras, and those have worked for us in the past. So having a license plate reader on entry points into the city to be able to capture vehicles going in and out during the time frame that a crime has occurred is just crucial.
Chief Baham says the 10 devices went up almost 2 weeks ago at the following locations. To name a few, there's one at Eventide and Harry Wurzbach, Garrity and North New Braunfels, and South Van Diver and Ritterman. She adds the license plate readers are already being used in a few cases and will help the department react to crime, but also be proactive.
If another agency has a vehicle they're looking for and they come through our city and our camera catches it and notifies one of our officers, they can act on it immediately.
We spoke to a handful of people in Terrell Hills off camera. Many were unaware of the new changes and were indifferent. Others seem to be on board.
What do you say to anybody who's afraid that they might be coming out in these pictures?
All I can say is that the The data we get from these are not an open records qualified, but as you can see, it's quite difficult to see who's driving the vehicle because of the focus is on the license plate.
As for the cost, it came out to roughly $60,000. Chief Baham tells us 27% was paid for by the city budget. The other 73% was covered by the police department's asset forfeiture fund, and when they used to have a task force officer assigned to the DEA.
A portion of the asset forfeiture that they seize, we get a portion of that.
If you have any questions regarding the license plate readers, you can call Terrell Hills PD at 210-824-7401. John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Live look outside right now.
82 degrees, though. We'll take those clouds.
Yeah,
I
just pulled a Family Guy. It's gonna rain, but it's not gonna rain.
It was almost like you were surprised. There's clouds. Oh my gosh.
Well, they're
Scared
nice
you.
clouds today.
Yeah, there are. We'll take them. The clouds want to stick around. We'll take it because it helps with temperatures a little bit, keeps them from warming up as fast. But it is going to be a hot day today, and that brings me to my next topic of conversation here: football. Southwest Legacy at John Jay. That's at Gustafson Stadium. Yeah, go Steph. Go John Jay. No, we're not picking sides here. But our forecast for that game, it's going to be hot. 93 when the game kicks off. Heat index will be 100 plus. 89 at 8 o'clock. Even when the game's winding down, we're still in the 80s. It's still real humid. So it'll be rough for the football players and the fans. It was the case last Friday. That'll be the case again, not only today, but tomorrow, too. Our forecast, 97 is where we end up today, mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. And, again, heat indices up around 100, 203. Pollen count is in. Molds are at 520, ragweed 50, fallow 40, and grass showed up today, too. It's at 20. But mold's still in the moderate category if that's something that is bugging you. Guys?
Thank you, Justin. Let's look out there with our TransGuide cameras. What I notice here is only the green grass, so things are looking good there at I-35 at Pine. According to the TxDOT website, it looks like there is a minor crash over I-35 at Somerset Road. This is northbound, so just be aware of that, but it is minor, and it looks like we only have one shoulder lane blocked at this time. Well, the San Antonio City Council will vote on its nearly $4 billion budget today.
The annual spending plan includes some belt-tightening measures as some of the city's big revenue streams return to what the city says are pre-COVID levels.
Patty Santos shows us some of the highlights of this major budget.
Here's how a $1 billion investment in public safety will keep you secure. The budget is looking at adding 65 new police officers next year, 15 new firefighters to address specific medical calls. We will also see 3 new fire stations. There's a plan to add 14 new animal care service officers to answer critical calls. Addressing homelessness is also a top concern for the community. $44 million will go towards homelessness services. Get this, the city plans on doing 1,300 encampment cleanups. Have a problem with the streets you drive in? The proposal is to boost that part of the budget to $122 million.
Well, there have been numerous community meetings going over this budget. The vote by City Council is set for tonight, and our City Hall reporter Garrett Berringer will have a wrap-up on KSAT.com.
You might remember in the last few weeks, we introduced you to a couple of student mentor pairs. We shared their stories of Kimberly and Christopher, and also Madison and Jennifer, and how that mentorship pairing helped them prepare for some real world challenges, right, Steph?
Oh, yeah. So we did stories with them in the past couple of weeks, and this is they were both with the CAST mentorship program. So today you can actually learn more about that CAST Tech mentorship program and how you can help. So you can watch our KSAT Community Town Hall on why mentorship matters. That is later today, this afternoon. This is on KSAT Online, KSAT Plus, or anywhere you stream.
You're going to be there, right?
I'll be there hosting.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. All right, 9:38 right now. We got 82 degrees outside. You're watching GMSA at 9.
Well, if you've been out of a job and you're concerned about the gap in your resume, don't worry. After the break, we're going to tell you about some things you can do to address that gap. Welcome back. It is 9:41. Well, getting hired after a period of unemployment whether the break was voluntary or not, can be very difficult, as potential employers will often expect an explanation.
If you have a gap in your resume, do not worry, because you're not alone. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the majority of people have been unemployed at some point in their lives.
So here are some tips for job seekers on addressing the gap in your resume. Well, first, list that information like volunteer work, courses, and personal projects. Create a functional resume, grouping your experience by skills rather than chronologically.
If your cover letter writes a brief explanation of that reason that led to your gap in employment, but mostly focus on what's relevant to the role that you're applying for. Very important information. Real quick, what's your first job? Go.
Wendy's.
Wendy's? What about you?
Mowing yards.
Mowing yards. I spent one day in a cereal factory.
Oh, yeah?
Really?
And my mom cried like a newborn baby because she did not want me working in those conditions anymore.
Oh, no.
Wow.
How long were you there?
It was just one day.
One day, that was it.
Well,
your mom had an impact on you.
This is what's so funny. She told me, she was just like, you getting a job after high school. And then the first day I go in there after, she was like, no, I want my baby. No boots, nothing. Yeah, so yeah. That was a good story right there. Look at our little flamingos out there.
Yeah, they're still
in the
employed
water
there.
today.
At the zoo.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about working. They just live the luxury life of just
I know.
spending time in the San Antonio Zoo.
They don't look very stressed out, do they?
No.
No, they're just kind of relaxing on the beach.
Looks like they have cloud cover today, but I guess it's still humid out there.
It's so sticky. Maybe that's why they're, in the water, because it's hot, it's humid. And I wish I could tell you that's going to lead to some rain. Not in the short term, maybe long term we'll get some rain out of this. Let's first take a look at the big picture. And there's really not a lot going on across the country, quite honestly. We had those lows on either coast, and those are kind of moving away. Still some rain in California, and still some rain across parts of New England. But the middle part of the country, other than a thin line of showers and storms, there's not much there. And that goes for Texas as well. We look at the high temperatures today. It'll be up around 97 here in San Antonio. Of course, it will be hot and humid here for South Texas and Southeast Texas. Look at these temperatures up north, though. Wichita Falls, 100 this afternoon. It is hard to believe that even North Texas is continuing to see these hot temperatures. There has not been much relief in the form of cold fronts. We go outside for you, partly cloudy. We're at 82, 84 New Braunfels, so temperatures now starting to warm up. 80 in Converse, near 80 for Bernie and Kerrville, and we still have a pretty good southerly breeze, which is bringing in all the thick humidity. Dew points in the 70s. When you start getting dew points in the upper 70s, that's about as humid as it gets around here, and that's where we are in some cases. You look at Seguin and New Braunfels and Gonzales and Uvalde, all in the upper 70s. That is very, very humid, and that means those heat index values will really jump up today. Here's what we're expecting high temperature-wise locally. 94 in Kerrville, 95 Eagle Pass, 97 Carrizo Springs. Pretty uniform. Then when you factor in the humidity, this is what we expect it to feel like. Anywhere from 104 to 105 here around San Antonio. 105 potentially in Floresville. This model's been pretty consistent on keeping the heat index values in that range. And that's venturing into danger territory there, especially being the time of year that it is. Okay, we talked about the tropics earlier. 40% chance of development Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico. We have a wave. It's not there yet. We don't even have development yet. So it's a little premature to be talking about this, but I think we need to address it at least a little bit. So our computer model shows that we are going to get some slow development here. So by the middle part of next week, depending on where that wave sets up, we could have a potential system moving into the Gulf of Mexico. Then the next question, of course, you have is where does it go from there? I think there's still some questions here. You look at the computer models, there's still some variations as to whether or not it would go northwest, although I think that's the least probable path, whether or not it would just go north towards the northern Gulf there or towards Florida. Still some questions. I think it's really too early to say. But it is something that needs to be watched still. And if you look at history here, late September and October landfalls, whether it be a tropical storm or a hurricane, most all of them are Louisiana and east. There's only been one, and that was Beta in 2020 that made it into Texas. And here's why. Oftentimes, by this time of year, we get systems that are moving a little further south and they move across the country, and they tend to pick these systems up, pull them north, and then pull them north and east and away from Texas. I'm not saying that's unequivocally what's going to happen here, but I think the odds are that it's going to be something that the northern Gulf of Mexico and the west coast of Florida needs to watch very closely, and we'll still keep an eye out for it in case something does change there. 97 Friday, 96 Saturday, 94 Sunday. That's the official start to fall. And as we get into next week, slightly lower temperatures and some chances of rain showing up there Tuesday and Wednesday. We still are waiting on that front, that good cold front that's going to make a difference in our forecast.
Patiently waiting.
Patiently waiting.
We are.
Yeah.
It'll happen. Well, also patiently waiting, our friends at SA Live. Hi, guys.
Yes. Hi, we are just having a good old time over here today. Prost, because Oktoberfest is happening this weekend at La Vita, and we have Chef Johnny Hernandez back with us. Chef, what are you starting here? Because it smells so good, right?
So good.
Well, I'm making some Jaeger schnitzel for you today, which will be one of our featured dishes. And Jaeger schnitzel is a mushroom sauce. So just have onions and garlic, a little bit of butter, some crispy mushrooms. So this will be one of the sauces that we're featuring for Oktoberfest this year.
A lot of schnitzel will be there.
A lot of schnitzel. So this is the first year that Oktoberfest is coming to San Antonio.
Yes, I mean, we have just a very rich German heritage here. People know Beethoven Manor and our King William, that was our original German village. La Villita will celebrate our German heritage, but also Czech, Polish, and Alsatian. So some of these European cultures that have helped shape our local cuisine and our traditions.
Can you tell us maybe another fun fact? Because you have so many tied to La Vita.
there's no mistaking that the Germans are famous for beer, right?
Yes.
So, but if it wasn't for the great water and the rivers here at the San Antonio River, I mean, I believe the Germans may not have settled here. So I know that the river is the engine that is used to power the mills for the grains and even for tortillas, we said, flour, right? They're famous for bringing like Pioneer Mills, right? That Pioneer Mill has been there, 170 years?
I didn't know they were famous for bringing Pioneer Mills. I was just at the Gunther house the other
Yes,
day.
the Gunther family, yes.
Wow.
So think about it.
Jada.
We may not have flour tortillas if the Germans never arrived.
How sad would that be?
I know.
So thank you to the Germans because we love our tortillas.
Prost to the Germans.
Prost to that, yes. Let's pour some here.
Yes. So but anyway, we have 5-6 chefs participating this year.
And it kicks off tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow, yes. Tomorrow kicks off tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And, you know, aside from schnitzel and bratwurst, which I'm making, we have Chef Laurent from Monchouchou. We have Southerly is making some pretzels. We have a Czech chef who's making kolaches. So kolaches that we've eaten.
So my diet doesn't start till Tuesday.
So we have these beautiful commemorative mugs.
So pretty.
These are handmade by artisans in Mexico, right here in Mexico, but for German, our festival. But we're, everything, there's a lot of free demonstrations, free entertainment. It's for the community. And it is a fundraiser for Kitchen Campus, our nonprofit.
We can't wait to talk to you more because this is just so informative and smells so good. So you guys definitely have to stay tuned for sure.
Thank you so much, Chef. Again, happening tomorrow into the weekend. It's the first of its kind at La Vita.
Veteran broadcaster Connie Chung has released a new memoir that she says took 10 years to write. Titled Connie, she details stories about her life and career, including the sexism and racism she encountered. Chung, who was the first Asian American to anchor any major news program, worked at CBS and ABC News and appeared on The View Wednesday.
But the fact is that these companies had to make up for all the years of discrimination of never hiring women and minorities. So when I started, I was among a sea of white men.
South Africa! Powerhouse Whitney Houston's epic 1994 performance in South Africa will hit theaters as a concert film. Her sister-in-law and a state executor are saying the singer loved the country and loved Nelson Mandela. The show has never been released before, and the limited theatrical screening will debut October 23rd. The iconic movie Whiplash, the ultimate indie movie Cinderella story released 10 years ago, will reappear in theaters nationwide Friday. The movie was a box office hit, winning 3 Oscars and launching the careers of director Damien Chazelle and actors J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller.
Whoopi, I'll do
A
anything
big
with you.
happy
Last time we were on
birthday
the
to
show,
late night show host Jimmy Fallon, who turns 50. That's the latest in Hollywood. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News.
I'll do whatever.
Oh.
Aww. So the Thai zoo, whose baby pygmy hippo has become a global viral sensation, but now her zookeepers are worried about her. So the 2-month-old is named after a type of Thai meatball, which is Mu Ding, and is getting thousands of visitors each day. Now, some people are throwing things at her. Signs went up on Thursday to tell overeager fans not to throw things at the pint-sized star to try to get her attention.
That is just so disrespectful. So the bouncy hippo, unstoppable though when it comes to social media, racked up in millions of views. Artists have drawn cartoons based on her, and she's been made into memes. It isn't clear how long Mu Ding will remain so playful and cute, but the zoo says that baby pygmy hippos usually lose the irresistible sparkle and become much calmer before they turn a year old. Now, first of all, why? Like, what you got against a baby hippo? Like, the thing can't even talk. And you sit here trying to do stuff like that. Leave that baby alone. Let him have fun.
I guess I guess to get her attention, but still, I mean, you could hurt her. And look at, oh my gosh.
It should be nice.
Yeah, well.
Aww. Don't throw stuff at me, guys. Look at that.
Just chilling, man. People need to stop. All right, this is something you were very excited about.
Yeah, Bluebell has just announced their new flavor. So are you ready for it? You can already see it. Chocolate brownie truffle ice cream.
Steph, do your drum roll again.
Well, I was because you can read it on the packaging. So it's not really washing machine. It's not really a surprise.
Okay, so this ice cream is a milk chocolate ice cream with brownies, dark chocolate flavored truffles, and chocolate icing swirl. I'm telling you, it looks very rich, and a lot of people, I'm pretty sure, will be a fan of this, including Steph. You're a big chocolate fan?
Yes, I love it already.
Yeah?
There's so much chocolate. When does it just taste like chocolate?
That's what I'm saying.
That's awesome.
I feel like
awesomeness.
One spoonful will be enough for me.
Yeah.
I'd probably be like, whoo, whoo.
It looks delicious.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see it on store shelves.
I like the one where they put all the cookie pieces in it. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
It's like cookie dough or something?
Well, there's another one
cookie
too.
And Oreo, like cookie dough and Oreo.
That one's good.
Is it a track? Moose tracks.
It's an amazing ice cream. Looking out there with TransGuide, things look pretty good here at I-35 and Benton City Road. I'm taking a quick check of the TxDOT website to see if there's anything. Looks like that crash at I-35 at Somerset, which you do not see right here, but looks like that was a minor crash that is still listed on the website, so just be aware of that. Well, production on the Yellowstone prequel 1923 is filming right now in San Antonio. Well, that means while Hollywood is in town, you're going to see some more road closures. So the biggest impacts will be in the coming days around the Broadway area near downtown.
Mm-hmm. Let's check in right now, of course, with the road closures this week. Starting today, you can look for one on Broadway. It's from East Pecan Street to East Travis Street, and then the one is supposed to last until the 25th.
Well, then starting tomorrow, these areas are closed to drivers. Broadway from East Pecan Street to East Houston Street, East Travis Street from Jefferson to North Alamo Street, and Peacock Alley from Jefferson to North Alamo Street. So these closures are expected to last until September 24th, and that is actually next Tuesday.
All right, here's a map so you can get a general idea of that area impacted. Of course, see it mostly on Broadway, not far from Travis Park. It's a little complicated, so that you can check out on our website to get just another look of this so you can be more familiarized with it.
Yeah, but those closures won't last long. The city says it expects filming to wrap up by September 27th, which is next Friday. So you should see everything open back up by then. I'm trying to think if there's anything happening around this downtown, close to downtown area.
It's always something.
Yeah, that people may have to divert.
Well,
but
yeah.
Good luck.
Today is a great day to grab you a bowl of ice cream.
No doubt. 97 today and tomorrow, but lots of humidity too. So it just feels hot and steamy out there. Humidity levels improve a little bit as we head into the weekend and next week. And we start to get more clouds, maybe some rain chances too. So it's looking a little bit better. As I've been saying, it's baby steps, but we're headed in the right direction.
Yay. Yes, we sure hope so. Well, we're celebrating early because tomorrow's